Okay, so here we are again. I'm at it again. I am going to do my continuous glucose monitor. I'm on another experiment from NutriSense. So they have asked me to be a part of their experiments and things like that. And also, I am training for my Trans-American bike race, the Tabor, as we call it. So I definitely want to see how my body reacts to certain things. And I also want to see when I'm training hard, what my body is doing. And what a better way to do that is to monitor our glucose levels. So that's what this is. So basically, NutriSense offers continuous glucose monitors. We call them CGMs. You don't need a doctor's note for them. You can go ahead and just order from the site. You could do one, which it works for 14 days. You could do a month where you get two of them. And so you can go from one arm to the next. They don't recommend you putting it on the same arm back to back. They want you to give your arm a rest and do the other side. So this is what it looks like. So it comes in this nice little box that says NutriSense on it. Okay, and inside you get two. I did for the month, so I got two of them. So this is what it comes in, a nice little packet where it saves it from static, a little static pouch. And in that pouch, you get the actual little sensor. You get an applicator to put it on. They give you some tape, exercise tape to put on top of it because it does stick out and you don't want to hit it on things, which I think I've done before. So they've been really good at helping me with that. So you've got the tape, the kinesio tape as they call it, and then they give you some wipes to wipe the area down. So let's go through how we're going to do this. Before I tell you how to put this on, I'm looking to, like I said, train with this to see what my body does. So I don't eat sugar, I don't eat carbs. It's a great way to see if my body is breaking down its own muscle. Because our body does do that, right? So if we don't supply it carbs and we don't supply it sugar, it does it through a process called gluconeogenesis, and that is from the protein that we eat. The body will store some of the protein after it's used the other protein to do the building blocks and to do the repair in the body that it needs to do. It'll store the excess protein and it'll go through a process called gluconeogenesis to give the body the sugar if it needs sugar. Okay, so now one of the things that I'm looking to do is that for my training to see if my body is using a lot of muscle. And then the other thing is to do it through my monthly cycle because we don't know enough about women's hormones. We don't know enough about what goes on at that time. We've only scratched the surface. So this is also going to help with that. So I'm really excited to get that information for NutriSense because they're looking to do a lot of tests with that and a lot of studies with that. So I'm very thankful that I'm able to do that with them. And they're an awesome sponsor of mine. So let's get started. So one of the things that they want you to do is find the fattiest part of your arm. So this would be right here for me. So this is where it's going to be on my arm. So to do that, you want to wipe it off and clean it off, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe that whole area. Now, the first time I did this, this is actually my third time. The first time I did this, I freaked out. I used to do my blood glucose on my fingers, and that hurt so bad. I am such a wimp when it comes to needles and to that. It took me forever to do this because I didn't want it on a sensitive part of my body. And when I saw what it looked like on the inside, I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way I'm going to put that in my body. That's going to hurt. And it didn't hurt. So when I tell you that it doesn't hurt, I am being honest. It doesn't hurt. The finger prick hurts worse than this, believe it or not. So the whole idea is you peel this off, okay? And this is on the applicator to keep it sterile, right? So I go ahead and I take those off. Now there is a notch right here, this little notch that's in your applicator. There's also a little notch on the actual device, right? So you want to make sure you line those up. And you want to make sure that you do it on a sturdy surface. So you line those up Okay, so if you look here, this notch and this line is lined up, and then you want a surface where you can push down on. So I'm going to do that on my desk. You're gonna hear the pop, which just happened, right? And now you're gonna see the little needle in there. I don't know if you can actually see that, but there's a little needle in there. And that needle will only prick you really quickly. After that, it doesn't stay in your skin. What it does is it helps the filament inside get inside your muscle fibers, okay, into your skin. And it's a little tiny filament in there that is what's in here, not the needle, just so you know. Okay, so then you're gonna place it on the spot that had the extra fat where we cleaned off, and all you're gonna do is push it. There it is. Now it's there, and it's gonna stay there for 14 days. What I will do is I will cover it with the tape so that it keeps it from hitting. So if you can see, it kind of sticks up a little bit and it can catch on your shirts and your, I've actually hit it on a doorknob, not a doorknob, a door jamb. And I've also, when it's sleeping at night, when I go to turn over, it can rub off too. So just be sure you cover it so that way it keeps it from bumping into anything and disrupting that. Because what happens if you knock that out a little bit, then it won't read. So you want to make sure that you take good care of covering that. You can shower with this. You can do your normal everyday activity. One thing that I noticed is when I wore it in the summer, sitting out in the sun actually gave it some funky readings. So it doesn't do well in the heat. So just make sure that you don't go into a sauna or something along those lines. You don't want to do that. So just make sure that you're aware of that. If you're going to do anything like that, or go tanning and tanning beds, which I wouldn't recommend, that's really high heat and that's not good for the sensor. So just make sure that you do that. So now this is going to calibrate for 24 hours. It's not going to give me accurate readings for 24 hours. And then what you do at that point, there is an app on your phone that is a NutriSense app. And then what you can do at this point is activate it by scanning. So there's a spot on your phone that will scan with this and it will activate it. So anytime you eat something, anytime you do an activity, anytime you go to bed, you always want to scan. Okay, so I scan anytime I scan that I remember, I scan it. So normally I'll scan before I eat and then I'll scan after I eat. And this takes a snapshot of 8 hours. So you have the ability to see the full 8 hours, which is pretty cool. So they recommend that you scan it before you go to bed and then you scan it when you wake up so that it reads it all through the night as well. So it's pretty neat. You can actually enter in, it keeps track of your macro. You probably can't really see that very well, but it keeps track of your macro summary. So you can put in the food that you have. What's really cool is the postprandial stuff. So that means 2 hours after you eat. That's where the telltale sign is 2 hours after you eat. Your body is going to produce insulin and going to have glucose levels when you eat. You're always going to get a little bit of a spike. The whole idea is to see how quickly that spike comes down. If it doesn't come down quickly, then that is of concern. And that is what we're really monitoring here, is that. So I'm excited to share this with you guys and to share the journey is what I find out. So this is going to stay for 14 days. I have another one. So in 14 days, I'm going to put one on this side and I'm going to just keep track of my training and my monthly cycle and see what happens. So really excited to document this journey with all of you. You can also follow me on Facebook and on my Instagram, where I'll share some updates and information there as well. Those will probably more current and I shouldn't say more current, but those will probably be more readily available versus a video. I'll probably do the video at the end. So if you want to keep up to date on what's going on, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram, which is K8 for Wellness, or you can follow me on my Facebook, which is also K8 for Wellness. So hope to see you guys there. Have an awesome day.